So please unmute yourself.
Yeah, we will discuss from 13th question backwards up to 1 in this KVPY 2019 paper. Many of them may be easy, just for revision purpose we are doing this. And I may take today class up, if I complete up to 1, before that it's okay, but otherwise I want to take up to 4:20 anyway maths doubts today, so I want to carry on with it. So if I class ends at 4 o'clock, you can rejoin again at 4, I'll do 4:20. Anybody has some other work, please leave in between, feel free. You can always see the record. Okay, 13th one is a very simple question from permutation combinations where repetition is allowed. Vowels, there are 5. Total number of English alphabets are 26. And from total alphabets, if you remove vowels, what are left are consonants, that is 21. Even though they did not use the word consonant as such, but they are called C is a complement. Okay, English alphabets, vowels, consonant. They want us to make 4-letter word. Okay, repetition is allowed. So this can be any one of the 26 alphabets. This can be any one of the 26 alphabets. This can be any one of the 26 alphabets. This also can be any one of the 26 alphabets. All right. So total number of words will be 26 power 4. 26 into 26 into 26 into 26. The question is, how many words are there where at least one vowel is used, at least one consonant is used? So we are doing by negative method. Total number of all English words that can be made, 4-letter words, minus without using any vowels. Okay, how many words are there? Without using any consonants, how many words are there? Okay, so if you don't use any vowel, you have to fill any consonant here. 21 choice here, 21 choice here, 21. So this is 21 power 4. So these are all the words only using consonants without using vowels. All the words only using vowels without using consonants are 5 choice here, 5 choice here, 5 choices, so 5 power 4. Okay, normally it may take time to find 26 power 4 and simplify that, but in KVPY calculator is allowed, so you can just use it. The positive method also you can do it. What is that? So I have to make a 4-letter word and minimum 1 vowel and minimum 1 consonant. So how many vowels I can use? 1 vowel or 2 or 3. I cannot take 0, 4 because then I am missing vowels. Or I cannot take 4, 0. That is also not, I cannot take. So 1 vowel, 3 consonants, 2 vowels, 2 consonants, 3 vowel, 1 consonant. When I'm making that word, I have to decide among these 4 places where I'm putting the vowel. So that is 4C1 ways. In 4 places, select 1 place for vowel. Once you select the place, the selected place for reserved seat for vowel, there are 5 ways to fill it. Other 3 places which are reserved for consonants, you can fill 21 ways, 21 ways, 21 ways. So which is 21. If you are selecting 2 vowels and 2 consonants, okay, then out of these 4 places, which 2 places you want to fill with the vowels? Selecting the places is 4C2. Automatically other 2 places are consonants. If the selected reserved 2 places for vowels, the ways to fill is 5 into 5. And other 2 places which are filled with consonants, 21, 20. If you want to fill with 3 vowels and 1 consonant among the 4 places, which 3 places you want to fill with vowels? Deciding is 4C3. And then in those 3 places where vowels you thought there are 5 ways, 5 ways, 5 ways, and consonants 21 ways. This is also, sorry, yeah. Now either you can find this. I just want to tell how these two are equal. Is if you use binomial theorem expansion for 5 plus 21 whole power 4, what will it come? 5 power 4, 21 power 4. That are these two, first term and last term. Total 5 terms will come. The middle 3 terms are exactly this. 4C1 into A into B cube, 4C2 into A square B square, 4C3 into A cube. So when you expand this, you will get 5 power 4 plus 4C1 something, 4C2 something, 4C3 something, and 21 power 4. So if you want this part, that is this, which is exactly this. Okay. So obviously they're equal because of binomial expansion of 26 power 4. Okay. So any one method you can do it, positive or negative. Is it okay? 13th question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 12th is about complex numbers. For some of you, this chapter is not a taught, but I'll just give an idea. And when complex numbers lesson is over, you can go back and try this question once again. Okay, so in 12th question, basically they want, they are on unit circle. So mod z equal to 1. And mod w is also 1. And z square plus w square is 1. Okay, how many complex numbers are there satisfying all these conditions? Okay, so those who know about complex numbers, I want to give us some specific idea. Let me ask one question to all of you. I have two unit vectors, 1 unit and 1 unit. The resultant will be there, right? That also I want 1 unit. For that, what should be this angle? I want resultant of two unit vectors also should be unit vector. What should be the angle between them? Anybody?
120.
Yes, it should be 120 degrees. Okay. You can use parallelogram law if you want. If you take the parallelogram, this is 1 unit, this is 1 unit, and of course, I don't want to be vertical. Let me draw this. Yeah. Yeah. This is 1, this is 1, this is 1. This is a parallelogram. If this is 1, this is also 1. If this is an equal triangle, this is 60, 60, 60. This is 60, 60, 60. This is 60, this is 60, so this will be 120. Our resultant formula you have root over a square plus b square minus 2ab cos theta is resultant r. Put a1, b1, r1. Or if two vectors are L and this angle is theta, resultant is 2L cos theta by 2 equal to 1. Either way, whatever it is, you'll get 120. Why I am asking this is, if mod z is 1, mod of z square is also 1. Mod of w square is also 1. Basically, I am looking for two complex numbers whose magnitude is 1 and 1, but their sum is also 1. The resultant is 1. When I say the resultant is 1, it is not just a magnitude is 1. It should be number 1 itself. So if I have a unit circle and 1 is here, z square is some vector like this in complex numbers. W square is some vector, unit vector in complex numbers. But the resultant should be exactly 1 itself. So based on our discussion just now, if we take 1 and 1, the resultant will be 1, and this is 60, this is 60. So obviously it should be 60 degrees this way, 60 degrees this way. So I can directly say now z square must be cis 60 degrees, w square must be cis minus 60. Some of you will not understand what is cis in complex numbers. That is cos theta plus I sin theta. But don't worry. Okay. Or I can take cis minus 60 here and cis 60 here. Okay. When I take z square equal to cis 60, for z, how many options will come? Anybody? Those who know about complex numbers. Z square is cis 60. Z, how many options will come? Swarup? Z square is 60 degrees. What is Z will be?
Cis 30.
Cis 30. What about minus cis 30 is also okay?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That is 180 plus 30 is 210. Anyway, anybody can tell this. If Z square equal to K, Z can be plus or minus root K. So there will be two choices for Z here. There will be two choices for W. Right? Okay. So how many pairs of Z and W I'll get here? From this I'll get cis 30. From this I'll get cis minus 30. Or I can take minus cis 30, minus cis minus 30. Or plus here, minus here, plus here. So I'll get four choices. For Z, plus or minus cis 30. For W, plus or minus 6. Two choices for this, two choices for this. According to your permutation combination, 2 into 2, 4 cases. Similarly, when I take this and this, all those four reverse, there will be 8 cases. That's it. Because Z and W can be interchanged. So I'll get 8 solutions and I'm able to tell the 8 solutions. What is that Z? What is that W? I'm able to tell. This is cis 30. This is cis minus 30. Okay. Same thing, you take plus plus, plus minus, minus plus, minus minus, and everything reverse. That's it, the right cases. Okay. There are other methods also there, okay, which are little lengthy, but I find this is easier. All right, 12th one. Somebody can take Z as X plus I y, they're given, W as U plus I y, really find Z square, really find W square, and equate real parts and imaginary parts. You'll get some equation. Use X square plus Y is equal to 1 and U square plus B is equal to 1. Try to solve, you'll get it. Or some manipulation of properties of complex numbers also can be done. But I feel, yes, please.
Sir. Sir.
It's okay. No problem. And I'll just repeat what I wanted to say. I said only one thing, that Z square is a vector, unit vector. Not only Z is a complex number magnitude 1, this also magnitude 1, this also magnitude 1. So both are on the unit circle, but their sum should be exactly 1, not just magnitude 1. Okay. So I am looking for two unit vectors whose resultant is 1 itself. Then I have to take 60 degrees this way, 60 degrees this way. That is this 60 and this minus 60. That's why I wrote. You can also write reverse. And Z square is 660. For Z, there will be two answers. And W square is 6 minus 60. For W, there will be two answers. So when you choose, you'll get total 4 cases and the reverse 8 cases. That's it. Eleven I discussed already. So okay, 10 is a straightforward simple question. If I take any parallelogram, all of you know area is AB sin theta. We also know of D1, D2 sin theta. Of D1, D2 sin theta is not just for parallelogram, it is actually true for any quadrilateral. First of all, if there is a parallelogram, if this is A and this is B and this is theta, area is AB sin theta. And if there is a parallelogram where this length is D1 and this length is D2 and this angle is theta, area is of D1, D2 sin theta. And if there is a triangle with this is A, this is B, this is theta, any triangle of AB sin theta. If you take any quadrilateral, any shape doesn't matter, any quadrilateral, and the diagonals need not be perpendicular also. One diagonal like this, one diagonal like this, this is theta, this is D1, this is D2. Also, area is of D1, D2 sin theta. How is that? You find this triangle area, this triangle area, this triangle area, this triangle area, add all four. Based on this formula, you find all four and add, you'll finally end up with this. Okay. But anyway, here in this particular question, they said parallelogram, so it is easier. What they said in this question, one diagonal length is 10 and another diagonal length is 4. Okay, one diagonal length is 10 and another diagonal length is 4, so into sin theta. So now only variable for area is sin theta, and if you want it to be maximum, sin theta maximum value is 1. When sin theta maximum value is 1, okay, you'll get maximum area is 20. But that maximum is attained when theta is 90. So when diagonals are perpendicular, that is when it is a rhombus. In a parallelogram, when diagonals are perpendicular, it becomes a rhombus. Then you will get area maximum. This is 10 units, 5, this is 4 units. So at that time, the side will be root 29. All sides are root 29. What is it they want? They want perimeter. So when area is maximum, even though diagonals are fixed, among all the parallelograms with diagonals fixed, the maximum area will happen for rhombus, and the perimeter of that is 4 times root 29. If you want, you can take 4 inside and write 16 into 29 and find some rough value maybe. They asked that lies in what interval? Yeah, that lies between 19 to 20, 20 to 21. I'm sure without calculator also 16 into 29 you find and see whether it is between 19 square to 20 square or 20 square to 21 square, you can find. Is it okay, 10th one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 9th one. I can send sine 3x that side and then manage, but you apply transformations, it is easier. So this is not root 29, sorry, I wrote 25 plus 16 will be root 41. Okay, so what I wrote is not root 29 in the previous one. Root 41, 4 root 41. Yeah. Sine 9x plus sine 3x equal to 0. I want solutions in the interval 0 to 2 pi, number of solutions. You apply transformations, it is easier, I think. Sin c plus sin d, 2 sin c plus d by 2, cos c minus d by 2. When you take 9x plus 3x by 2, 6x. 9x minus 3 by 2 is cos 3x equal to 0. But I don't think I have to solve this. Whenever cos 3x is 0, then sin 6x equal to 0. So normally you will get two cases, sin 6x equal to 0 or cos 3x equal to 0. But I don't have to check this because whenever it is 0, this is also 0. So while writing the solutions of this are included. Okay. So that's why I will calculate only for this. And you know sin 6x equal to 0 means 6x equal to n pi, x is equal to n pi by 6. And you can find pi by 6, 2 pi by 6. Or another way of saying is when x is between 0 to 2 pi, 6x is between 0 to 13 pi. So in that, when will sin 6x will be 0? All multiples of pi. 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, sorry, 0 to 12 pi. The last 12 pi. So 0, pi, 2 pi, so on up to 12 pi. How many solutions? 13 solutions. Nothing to, not required to solve this because it's already there. Is it okay? Ninth one? Okay, eighth one. If you do graphically, this one is easier, eighth one. Just 2 minutes. Okay, anything if I'm discussing fast, you want some explanation, please stop me. Please feel free, no problem. Okay, so coming to this eighth question, mod x plus 2 mod y equal to 1. If I divide with 1, it is mod x by 1, mod y by 1 by 2 is equal to 1. You want radius of the circle with center at origin and non-empty intersection. Okay, we'll discuss about. Okay, so what is this? When x and y are positive, it is a line with the x-intercept 1 and y-intercept 1 by 2. It is this line in first quadrant because x and y are positive. After it is symmetrical about the y-axis and x-axis. So it is actually a rhombus like this. This is 1 comma 0. This is 0 comma off. This is a minus of comma 0. Oh, sorry, minus 1 comma 0. This is 0 comma minus of. What happens? You find the perpendicular distance from origin to this line. Okay. What is the perpendicular distance from origin to this line? Here, 1 by root 5. Okay, if you call this as k, k is 1 by root 5. So if I take x square plus y square equal to r square, the circle is center origin. If I take radius less than 1 by root 5, the circle and this rhombus will not have any solution, 0, no common points at all. When you take exactly 1 by root 5, there will be 4 common points. It will just touch. And if I take between 1 by root 5 to 1 by 2, which is these 2 points, okay, I will have 8 solutions. If I draw rhombus properly, let me draw. It will be like this. Okay, 2 solutions here, 2 solutions here, 2 here, 2 here. Provided your radius is still less than this height. That's why this 1 by 2 is important. Your radius is less than 1 by 2, but more than this minimum radius. Okay, we'll have 8 solutions like that. When radius is exactly 1 by 2, we'll be passing through these 2 points and it intersect 2 more here, 2 more here. We'll have 6 points of intersection. And when radius is more than 1 by 2 but less than 1, 1 by 2 less than radius less than 1, I'll have 4 solutions. And imagine a circle like this, more than this, we'll have 4. When radius is exactly 1, there will be only 2 solutions. One is this and one is this. And when radius is more than 1, again there is no solution. Okay. So if you want no intersection at all, okay, your radius should be less than 1 by root 5 or more than 1. Okay. Now what is the question exactly? No, I covered a lot of it. Okay. The radius of the smallest circle with center at the origin and having non-empty intersection with S. That means you should have some intersection. Okay. So if you want to have some intersection, minimum 1 by root 5, maximum 1. Okay, minimum. So closed interval 1 by root 5 to 1. As long as your radius is anything in closed interval 1 by root 5 to 1, there will be some intersection. It may be 4, it may be 8, it may be 6 in this. In that, what is the minimum radius? 1 by root 5. If we don't want any intersection, what is the different possible radius? 0 to 1 by root 5, union open interval 1 to infinity. Is it clear, 8th one, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Only for this question, I would have said this much. From origin, find perpendicular distance to this line. As long as the radius is that much, that is the smallest radius where you can have some common intersection. But if you can increase the radius also. Is it okay, Danish? Bhargav, any doubt?
No, sir.
No. Okay, fine. Dhanush, is it okay for you? Or still you want explanation? Okay, I should explain once again. Okay. I can take a different figure if you want. Basically, let us say some other rhombus is there where this is 4 units, this is 3 units. You find the perpendicular distance from origin. As long as your radius is that much, it will be just touching. If you increase the radius little more, it will be like this. If you increase little more, it will pass through these two. If you increase little more like this, if you increase little more like this. So what is the smallest circle having some common points with the given rhombus? Is that one which is just touching inside. What is the radius of that? From origin, simply find perpendicular distance to this line. Mod c by root a square plus b square, which is 1 by root 5. Okay. And what is the maximum radius you can take? Up to 1. That is exactly the circle containing the rhombus. Anything more than that, again, there will not be. So as long as your radius is between 1 by root 5 to 1, that is this minimum distance, this maximum distance, you will have some intersection or other. There will be some common points. Is it okay, Danish, now?
Okay, sir.
7 now. Yeah. I think today we can complete this and then we'll stop it. And tomorrow we can start 2018 from the beginning. 1 to whatever we discussed in 30 minutes we'll discuss. Okay, 7th question. The question says f of x is equal to x sine 1 by x and x is not equal to 0. 1 if x is equal to 0. They defined like that, and now they're asking f of x equal to 1, how many solutions are there? Okay. This is a function f of x equal to 1. So one obvious solution you can see here, f of 0 is 1. Okay. F of 0 equal to 1 implies f of x equal to 1. One solution is x equal to 0. Okay. Apart from that, are there some other solutions? No. Why? Can this be 1? Let us check. X sine 1 by x equal to 1. Bring this x down. We'll get sine 1 by x is equal to 1 by x. Of course, x should not be 0 because already we have x not equal to 0. Comma x not equal to 0. It is somewhat like sine theta equal to theta. Is there any solution? No. Sine theta equal to theta, there is only one solution. Why? Let us look at the figure. Y equal to sine x graph is like this. Actually, y equal to x line is like this, and y equal to sine x touches that line and it goes like this. Here also like this. Okay. Actually, y equal to x is a tangent to y equal to sine x. So, if you want sine x equal to x, then x equal to 0 is the only solution. There is no other solution because it is tangent here. In fact, we know standard inequality that sine x is less than x. For all positive numbers, you can see sine x graph is below x. Sine x is never equal to x. For all negative values, sine x is more than x. So they can't be equal. So only at 0 they're equal. So if you want sine 1 by x equal to 1 by x, 1 by x should be 0. But 1 by x can't be 0 because for that x should be infinity. But that is like open interval. We don't talk about infinity. Okay. So sine 1 by x equal to 1 by x, no solution. So this part can never be equal to 1. This part can be 1. Already it is there. Okay. Is it all right, 7?
Yes, sir.
No solution for this part because only solution for sine x equal to x is x equal to 0. That is the only solution. Okay, I'm arranging this. Okay, what is this? P of 1 plus x is equal to P of 1 minus x. There is a polynomial where P of 1 is 0. And there are so many polynomials like that satisfying these two conditions. Okay. And it should not be constant. It is non-zero polynomial. Then it should be divisible by, okay, x minus 1 whole power m divides P of X, all such polynomials. What is that minimum m? Okay. Or what is the time? What is the largest integer? All right. We should divide every such polynomial. Okay. So I have a lot of polynomials satisfying this. First of all, this one, how to visualize this? If stops, okay, rejoin. How to visualize this is basically just this statement alone tells the graph is symmetrical about 1. You take 1 plus x, whatever is the value, 1 minus. That means after 1, if graph is like this, before 1, graph will be like this. Whenever somebody says you f of k plus x is equal to f of k minus x for all k value, for all x values, the graph is symmetrical about x equal to k vertical line. Okay. Now, p of 1 is already 0. Polynomial, if you take a constant polynomial, at 1 it should be 0, it should be symmetrical, means it should be a horizontal line. No slant line can be symmetrical about a vertical line, but a horizontal line can be symmetrical about vertical line, x equal to 1. But it should be always 0. But they said that means one possibility is p of x is 0 for all x belongs to R. Yeah. Okay. All right. So p of 1 plus x equal to p of 1 minus x and p of 1 equal to 0 is given. Only from this I am saying the graph should be symmetrical, okay, about x equal to 1 line. And actually this kind of symmetry is possible only when it is even degree polynomial. Odd degree polynomial, it is actually not possible. I think I should say that. Okay. Second thing is p of 1 is 0. So if constant polynomial is possible, in the question they want non-zero polynomial. Next, linear not possible because any slant line cannot be symmetrical about a vertical line. It has to be a horizontal line, then it has to be again constant only. So we don't have any slant line. Next, to go for quadratic. I'm sure there is a quadratic which is symmetrical about this. You can easily tell what it is. It is x minus 1 whole square into any k. So p of x equal to any k into x minus 1 whole square. Like that I can tell more, but if you use calculus, it is more easier. What is that? To differentiate this, what will come? P dash 1 plus x is equal to p dash 1 minus x into derivative of 1 minus x is minus 1. When you bring this side, you will get and put x equal to 0 now, you will get p dash 1 equal to minus p dash 1. 2 p dash 1 is 0. So p dash 1 equal to 0. That means at 1 derivative is 0. Not only at 1 the polynomial is 0, its derivative is also 0. According to theory of equations, if alpha satisfies a polynomial and its derivative, what does it mean? Anybody in theory of equations? If a number satisfies the function and its derivative in polynomial.
Sir, at there,
It is repeated root, multiplicity. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So if f of alpha is 0 and f dash alpha is 0, alpha is a root for the polynomial at least twice. Okay. We studied about that. Okay. So that's it. It is at least twice means it should be divisible by x minus 1 whole square. So there are a lot of polynomials. There are a lot of polynomials satisfying this data. Okay. But all of them should be divisible by x minus 1 whole square because there's a quadratic which is divisible by x minus 1 whole square. There can be cubic, fourth degree, whatever. But later on, I want to think from here to prove why it must be even degree, not odd degree. I think we can tell directly. When you expand this, let us take a odd degree polynomial and the leading coefficient is ax power n. This will give you ax power n. This will give you a into minus x whole power n. If there n is even, they will be equal. But when n is odd, I'll get a minus. When I equate, bring this side, 2a x power n is 0, I'll get a equal to 0. Yes. So there are only even degree possible. And you cannot take constant polynomial. So the only thing left is quadratic, fourth degree, sixth degree. In that, all are should be divisible by x minus 1 whole square because of 1 is a root and its derivative is a root, so it is repeated. So any polynomial satisfying this data, either it is a constant polynomial, horizontal always 0. If not, it can be any even degree, quadratic, fourth degree, sixth degree, but they all should be divisible by x minus 1 whole square. One should be repeated. Is it okay regarding this sixth question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But even the even degree is also good. I think some more than one of the question can be framed easily with this data. Okay, next 5. They give a determinant and they want something satisfying that. Okay, this is a maths doubt session for remember 5 and 7 students, and I'm discussing maths doubts only. Minus 3x power 4 plus delta of 1x x square, 1x square x power 4, 1x cube x power 6 equal to 0. Of course, you know whenever 1 1 1 1 is there, you know what to do. But apart from that, 1a a square, 1b b square, 1c c square. What is the determinant of that? Anybody? A minus b
into b minus
b minus c into c minus c. Right? Okay. Because when you put a equal to b, two rows are equal, so that is 0. So a minus b is a factor. When you put b equal to c, that is 0, so b minus c is a factor. If this is a, this is a square. This is b, this is b square. This is c, this is c square. So I'm going to use that. So x minus x square into a minus b into b minus c, x square minus x cube into x cube minus x. A minus b into b minus c, c minus c. I can take one x common here, one x square common here, one x common here. That is x power 4 with this. So I can take x power 4 common. I'll be left with minus 3. After taking this, 1 minus x left. Here 1 minus x left. Here x square minus 1 is left. Okay, so I'll get x power 4 equal to 0, or if normally if I want to solve, this is a fourth degree equation. It will take some time, but they want only integers. If it is integers, it is somewhat easier. I'll tell you why. Send these 3 that side. You have 1 minus x, 1 minus x, or let us do keep minus 3 only here. 1 minus x, and here I'll get 1 x minus 1. Send that side. It will be 1 minus x whole cube into x plus 1. If you are looking for only integer solutions, it is very easy. I'll tell you why. If x is integer, x plus 1 is also integer. So this is an integer. And if x is integer, 1 minus x is also integer. Integer whole cube is also integer. Integer into integer is minus 3. Can anybody tell me how to write minus 3 as product of two integers and one of them must be perfect cube?
Minus 1.
Minus 1 into 3. Any other choices? 1 into minus 3. But 1 into minus 3, there is no such x. Why? If I take x plus 1 as 3, x will be 2. And if I put x equal to, it is coming minus 1 nicely. But when I want this, I want x should be -4. This is not fitting. So this will not fit. So the only integer that can satisfy this fourth degree equation, okay, is x must be 2. Okay, so x equal to 2 and x equal to 0. If they want other than non-integer, some other solutions, I think I have to expand and think of some way of doing it. Okay, but because of integers, it is very easy. Is it all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, fourth question. I think I remember the question somewhat, so I'll just tell you. There is a circle. Actually, there are 2 points here. Okay, and there are some other 2 points. There's one circle with these 2 ends of diameter, one circle with these 2 ends of diameter. One line is drawn here, one line is drawn here. Okay, they want to join this and this. Okay, and then they wanted cos of this angle or sine of that angle. That is the overall question. Okay, AB is a line segment. C is the midpoint. D is the midpoint of that A and C. This and this are equal. C1 with a circle with a diameter as AB. So this is circle C1. E is C2 with a circle with AC as a diameter. So this is C2. E is a point on C1 such that EC is perpendicular to AB. Okay, like this. F is a point on C2 such that DF is perpendicular to again AB. But E and F are lie on opposite sides, so you cannot take here or here. That means if you take E here, you will take F here. You cannot take F and E on the same side. And EFEC, okay, they want theta sine of that angle. Okay. If you actually take this length as K, this is also K, this is 2K because this and this are equal, that is diameter. Just from the figure only you can do it, you don't need much of all these things. I want to draw one horizontal line here. Okay, this total is K now. This is also radius 2K. This is K, same K here for this circle. So this is K. This one is also K. If you look at this figure, separately, if you draw that right angle triangle, this is theta, this is K. And what is this? 3K. What is the hypotenuse? Root over this plus this, which is K root 10. So if you take sine theta, opposite side is K, hypotenuse is K root 10, 1 by root 10. So the question may look big, okay? But if you actually read it carefully, draw the figure, understand that E and F are on opposite side, just from the figure only it can be done. Of course, if somebody wants, I can take this as origin, find the coordinates of this. I can find this slope and angle between them can be found. But the simple right angle triangle with opposite by hypotenuse gives. Is it okay?
No, sir.
Not clear?
Once again, can you explain?
Okay, the question is, first you take a line segment A and B. The midpoint of that is C. Okay, the midpoint of A and C is B. Take A and B as ends of diameter, you will get one circle. Take A and C as ends of diameter, you will get another circle. Through C, you draw one vertical line, and that point is called E, one of the ends. Through D, one vertical line you draw intersects these 2 circles, one of them you call F. But with respect to AB, if E is on one side, F should be on the other side. Now you join F and E. Okay. Now they want this angle is theta. What is sine of that? That's the question. Now, how to do? If this is K, radius, this is K, this is K, this is K. Because this is 2K, this is 2K, this is 2K, this is 2K, and this is also 2K. Now, if this is K, this is also K here. You look at this triangle, K, this is K, this is 2K, so 3K, and hypotenuse is root of this square plus this square is K root 10. Sin theta is opposite side by hypotenuse 1 by 10. Is it okay, Bhargav, now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All these things, whether you try the question fully or not, at least I want you to read the question and come. So it will be a little easier, save some time. but it's okay, not a big issue. Okay, third question is about the areas. Okay, even though through definite integration we're discussing areas. Okay, I have to tell one small point and we can, I think 3, 2, 1 will complete today. Okay, whenever you want to find area between two curves, you have to identify which is the upper curve and which is the lower curve. And if you want to find area between them, between A and B, let's say this curve is f of x. Let's say this curve is f of x and this curve is g of x. You know, integral a to b f of x dx will give you this total area under the upper curve. Integral a to b g of x dx will give total area under g of x. So when you subtract integral a to b f of x minus g of x, that will give you area between the upper curve and the lower curve. So here, when they give two curves, it is our duty to identify which is upper curve and which is lower curve. The first curve is x into y minus e power x is equal to sin x. Y minus e power x equal to sin x by x, and that side y equal to e power x plus sin x by x. The second curve, 2xy is equal to 2 sin x plus x cube. Divide with 2x, we'll get y is equal to sin x by x plus x square by 2. Okay, now this is one curve, this is another curve. I have to find the area between them, including between the lines x equal to 1 and x equal to 2. Now it is my duty to decide which is upper curve and which is the lower curve. I can easily say that e power x is bigger than x squared by 2. Why? What is e power x? 1 plus x squared by 1, x by 1 factorial plus x squared by 2 factorial plus x cubed by 3 factorial, so on. X squared by 2, okay, is a small part of e power x. So many other things are there. Especially our x is positive between 1 and 2. Okay, so obviously e power x is much greater than x squared by 2 because of the rest of the terms. So since e power x is greater than x squared by 2 for x greater than 0 at least, this curve is above, that curve is below. So based on this formula, your present question is like this. You want between 1 and 2, there is a curve, there is a curve, this is upper curve, e power x plus sin x by x. This is a lower curve, sin x by x plus x squared by 2. And you want that area. So integral 1 to 2, upper curve is e power x plus sin x by x minus lower curve is sin x by x plus x squared by 2 t. They don't intersect anywhere because it's always greater than this. Sin x by x will cancel. E power x integral is e power x, x squared by 2 integral is x cubed by 6 with the limits 1 to 2. Substitute 2, you will get some minus, substitute 1, you will get the answer. Is it okay? Or anybody want any explanation more than this? Okay, I think it's okay for everyone. Bhargav, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, we have 2 questions. That's it. Okay, second question, again, it is a trigonometric equation question. They want number of solutions. The solutions for this between 0 to pi, they want how many solutions are there. Okay, I can just reframe the question. X belongs to, or theta belongs to 0 to pi. And 1/3 sine theta plus 2/3 cos theta whole square is equal to 1/3 sine square theta plus 2/3 cos square theta. Okay, just expand this. 1 by 9 sine square theta plus 4 by 9 cos square theta plus 2 into this is 4 by 9 sine theta cos theta equal to 1/3 sine square theta, 2/3 cos square theta. Let us bring everything one side, or I can take that side. What is 1 by 3 minus 1 by 9 will be 2 by 9. So 2 by 9 sine square theta minus 4 by 9 sine theta cos theta. And 2/3 minus 4 by 9 is again 2 by 9. Then 2 by 9 cos square theta equal to 0. Luckily, this and this became same, so it is easier. Our sine square plus cos square is 1. Even if not, I would have divided with cos square theta, I would have got quadratic equation in terms of tan. Okay, but still, this is 2 by 9. This will go that side as 4 by 9 sine theta cos theta. When I cancel 2 by 9, I'll get 1 equal to 2 sine theta cos theta, which is sine 2 theta equal to 1. If theta is between 0 to pi, 2 theta belongs to closed interval 0 to 2 pi. In that, I want sine 2 theta to be 1. In one full rotation, sine 2 theta equal to 1 has only one solution, which is 2 theta equal to pi by 2, theta equal to pi by 4 is the only solution. So basically between 0 to pi, how many solutions are there? Other than that, there's a lot of other solutions, but between 0 to pi, only one solution. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the beginning, it looks like what to do with the equation. Just expand it, simplify it, after that it's nothing. Okay, the number of 4-letter words that can be formed with the letters such that all the 3 letters occur. Okay, we have to use among ABC every letter. Okay, for me, it looks like number of onto functions. Why? What is the first letter? What is the second letter? What is the third letter? What is the fourth letter? I have to decide. Okay, I'll just erase this one. If I get time, I'll try to write this 2019 paper, whatever I explained the board neatly in papers, and if somebody wants to see leisurely, they can see. Okay, I want a 4-letter word. This should be A or B or C. 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 But A should be used at least once. B should be used at least once. C should be used at least once. So I have 4 elements here: A, B, C. If first letter is A, I have to decide whether first letter is which one. But I should not leave anything. So it is as good as a number of onto functions. We have a formula. It is 3 power 4 minus 2 power 4 minus 2 power 4. That is, you can do some leaving A, leaving B, leaving C, and then A. Leaving AB, leaving BC, leaving C. Simplify this, we'll get answer. What is this 3 power 4? All possible functions from here to here. What is this 3 power 4? There are some number. Okay. How many 4-letter words are there using all ABC? 3 power 4. Okay. For filling this 3 ways, 3 ways, 3 ways, 3 ways. Using ABC. Okay. Using only BC, A is not at all used. How many functions, how many words will be there? This can be B or C, 2 ways, 2 ways, 2 ways, 2 ways, 2 power 4. Using only CA, leaving B, there will be 2 power 4. Using only A, B, 2 power 4. But using only A, okay, leaving A also, leaving B also, all connected to C, all are C. That is there here. We removed it twice, we have to add once. Okay. You know, if somebody is not able to get this, there is another way. You want minimum 1A, 1B, 1C. That extra element, what it can be? It can be A or B or C. So somebody can take 2 A's, 1B, 1C, or 1A, 2 B's, and 1C, or 1A, 1B, or 2 C's. That's all. Only 3 cases. You can take 2 A's or 2 B's or 2 C's or other single element. How many ways you can arrange this? 4 factorial by 2 factorial. This also 4 factorial by 2 factorial. This also 4 factorial by 2 factorial. So 3 times 4 factorial by 2 factorial. Okay. So whatever it is, 36 will come. Okay. I'm sure here also you'll get 81 minus 16, 16, 16 plus 3. 81 minus 48 plus 3. 81 minus 45, which is 36. Okay. Any doubt in any one of the methods here?
No, sir.
No.
Sir, once again explain.
You want this one or this one?
First method, sir.
The first method. Okay. First method is standard theory in permutation combination is to find number of onto functions. Okay. If you have m, let us say a elements here, b elements here, you want to know number of onto functions. It will be b power n minus nc1 into that if I decrease one, b minus 1 whole power n plus nc2 b minus 2 whole power n. Like that, there will be some formula. Okay, where from that formula came, I'm explaining here. First letter can be any one of the three, A, B, C. Second letter one can be this, second, third letter, fourth. So that is 3 power 4. All the possible words using A, B, C are this. But in that, there are some words where A is not at all used. They are there here, I want to remove them. If you don't use A, for filling this only 2 choices, B or C. For this also 2 choices, for this also 2 choices, for this also 2. So there are 2 power 4 English words using only B and C. They're all there in this, I don't want it. There are 2 power 4 English words only using C and A. They're all there in this, I don't want it. These are only 2 power 4 English words using only A and B, 4-letter English words. They're all there in this total English words, I don't want it. So I have to remove it. Up to here, is it okay for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, if all are A, I used only A. That is there, definitely it is one of the English word that is there in 3 power 4. It is also there while using C and A. It is also there while using A and B. So I counted here once, but I removed it twice. So I have to add it once. That is this plus 1 for. This is only all B's, all C's. Okay. That's it. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Understood.
From total, what we don't want, we removed it. Okay. So now